So I want everyone to meet my friend Kay. Kay is also a scleroderma patient. But Kay, instead of me telling your story, I would love for you to just give us a little background and tell us about your diagnosis and a little bit about you.
Okay.
The Kay story.
The Kay story.
Here we go.
So I started, I don't know when I got scleroderma. I think that's an interesting path. I think I may have had it for many, many years and not realized it.
Good point.
I had the tiredness. I had both knees replaced, and when I had them replaced, the doctors kept telling me I healed too fast. And I still do not have full bend on my knees because of that.
Is it scar tissue that built up?
And it's scar tissue that has built up.
That's so interesting.
And the collagen issue, I believe, is part of that. Now, can we prove that? No. Do we really know that for sure? No. But it makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Now that you know about the disease. Yeah.
2016 went through breast cancer, a very aggressive form, chemo, radiation, surgery, all those things. At the end of the chemo, basically you take chemo for a year with this kind.
Okay.
The bad chemo is only 3 or 4 months, but you continue for about a year. So that was 2017. And by then, when you're in chemo, you get a lot of cold. You're cold a lot, okay? So because the medicine. And actually, it changes a lot of things. Coming out of it, I started having Raynaud's. My hands, constantly were bothering me, an issue. And when I went to the doctor, they sent me to another doctor, thinking it was vascular. There's where I got
and all that stuff.
There's where I got the ANA testing done, which showed all different markers. Not necessarily to me just scleroderma, but eventually through several steps, started in one practice. And thanks to my friend Carol, who got me into the University of Michigan practice quickly, I was able to join that group. And it's
whether you wanted to join the scleroderma group
or
not.
I had a pulmonologist in Toledo who said to me, she goes, I said I'm going for a second opinion. That's how I was putting it in Ann Arbor at University of Michigan in their scleroderma clinic. She goes, good. And she goes, and they'll probably tell you they want you to switch to a different pulmonologist and be part of a team up there. She goes, I'm not offended. You do that. That's what you need to do. Do not hesitate. Go with the team. And that's been kind of a theme with me. I've eventually brought up almost everybody from practices elsewhere to the University of Michigan because it's important to have that team work together.
Is it easier to manage too? Whether you pick a doctor from this place than this place?
Yeah, a little bit easier to manage, although, and luckily the two systems, ProMedica and University of Michigan, talk. They both use my chart and they talk. So that has made life simpler. But yes, anyway.
Good.
So that's the scleroderma journey. My scleroderma is a little bit different, and that's something interesting about scleroderma, that everybody looks a little bit different. I don't have any hand issues. I was having bad Raynaud's when I was initially diagnosed. He couldn't even get a capillary thing done because they were closing so fast because my Raynaud's was so bad.
So you couldn't see
anything anyway.
You're like, forget it.
So
we'll skip
we're just going to know you're on it. We'll give you meds, okay. So I don't have the tightening of the skin issues or the contractures with my hands, but I still struggle with them getting cold. I do wear mittens, fingerless mittens, almost all the time.
She also makes them. Now, she doesn't want me to probably tell everybody this, but they're amazing, and I have a pair.
Yeah, I have gotten into knitting them because, well, I want some that match every outfit. So you have to.
She's got them distributed with each color.
I have a big basket, and as I, leave the house or go to sit down and get cold, I have to make sure they match whatever it is I'm wearing.
Love it.
But these kind that are attached are also, I look for outfits that have these, and my theory is, even though my hands are not that bad at this point, I don't want them to get bad, and it's a science thing. The wrists are warm, the fingers are warm. So to me, it's very important, even just to keep the wrists warm. And if the wrists are warm, the rest of me seems to be a lot warmer.
Oh,
so that
works.
really helps. I mean, your core, that's true for your core, right? To keep your core warm.
Sure.
And I believe that's true for your wrists as well, because all those blood vessels are going through your wrists. So anyway, sometimes
Science
you have
teacher right here.
Kay's theories. They may not all pan out with the doctors, but that's what I think.
Right. We have no credentials. We
That's
will
right.
not be doctors.
I am
just
not a
we are-
doctor. I don't even play one on TV. But anyway, those are my
love it.
theories.
I love it.
All right.
So, Kay, tell us a little bit more. Well, you talked about your symptoms, but like your day-to-day physicality and activities, like you also have lung
I do have
involvement.
I do have
Tell us about-
interstitial lung disease as well. That was identified right away. And so I get tired easily. I'm great on flat surfaces.
Flat is good.
Flat
okay.
is great. Stairs are a mess. Well, my knees make stairs hard, and then I can't breathe by the time I get to the top of the stairs. Anyway, so they're really not good. Anyway, so yeah, interstitial lung disease. I have all the gastro issues, and I struggle with that a lot. And then just the walking issue. People look at me and they say, "You really should have your knees replaced." I'm like, "Yeah, well, they both have been replaced." So,
So there's that.
There's
Yeah.
that, yeah. But and I do get some tendon issues where it's where the tendons kind of dry out and then all of a sudden they hurt.
Ooh.
I get that too. So a lot of tendon muscle issues for me that
How do you
slow me
manage
down.
that? Heat?
Naproxen.
Okay, so there's good medications.
There
that kind
are
of take the
pain
edge
meds.
off.
I try
Okay.
not to take them because
Sure.
they irritate the stomach. I already have stomach issues, so that. My secrets are diet, and I'm pretty firm on my diet and what I eat, when I eat, and how I eat. That sounds crazy.
Like, give us
but-
an example of what does that mean?
Well, okay, so I follow the low fiber, high protein diet. I don't eat a lot of things. The things that seem to sound good for you. I mean, I crave a salad these days because I don't eat lettuce, and I don't eat most vegetables, and I don't eat most fruits. Anything with skin that you're eating the skin, I don't eat. The berries, I don't eat. So that can become a social issue, and also timing, because of all the meds that I'm on, particularly Celcept and Ofev, and then medicines that you have to take without food, and medicines that you have to take with food, and then they have to be 10 to 12 hours apart for the
wow.
Ofev. So that Ofev has to be eaten with protein. So you come down to a very rigid schedule for medicines and food. And
What a nightmare.
well, it can be.
Okay.
It's okay when you're just like living your everyday life. And my husband's wonderful. He's adapted many of the things that help, like smaller meals, and we eat our dinner in the afternoon.
Like your bigger meal.
Our bigger
might
meal
be
is
at-
like 3 o'clock, 4
yeah.
o'clock, sometime in there, because then my body has time to digest it before I go to lay down. Otherwise, I'll be sick.
What a great idea.
So, I mean, it works for me. The bed tilted up for the digestion is huge.
Does your husband, do you have a split head?
Oh, no, he has
He
to
does
put
it?
up. But here's the other good news, is it also can stop snoring. Yeah.
And
if
that
your
for him?
head, for him,
Love
is he
it.
going to watch this? For him,
He
no.
won't mind.
He does. He does. You do end up with this problem of when the headboard's up that high, I don't know, you slide down a lot.
Sure,
so
sure.
you have to spend the night, kind of crawling back up. These are little things, as Carol would say.
Yes.
These are little things. I learned a lot from my friend Carol, and she's so much more positive than I am, and so good at it, and she turns everything around, and so I'm learning to do that still. I practice Carol.
Well, I think you are practicing Carol wonderfully because I don't hear negative coming out of this mouth.
Yeah.
Practices K.
I love
Anyway, it is it is an adjustment to your lifestyle. It is changes, and then sometimes you just have to give into it. I wrote down, when I was looking at the questions, I wrote down, what's something you changed? Where was that? Changes that you made. mocktails. I make myself a mocktail anytime I want. And it's wonderful. You know, the digestive issues gave up alcohol for the most part.
Sure.
A lot of time, you know, a lot. But I learned to make great mocktails. Okay, it's a lot of fun.
Right.
And you can have one any time of the day.
That's right.
Until
You don't have to worry about driving,
That's
I bet.
right.
You know?
Oh yeah, that's a good joke. My friends, when I told my friend group about it, and I said, I'm not going to be drinking anymore, but I'll be a really good designated driver. Of course, they laughed. They said, "Hey, you were always our designated driver," but oh well.
Oh, well, that's right.
I'll be even better.
Right, now you're going to be even better. Oh, my gosh.
So, you know, those kinds of things. Like, you know, we went to a wedding Saturday night. You know, so you have a little champagne once in a while.
Sure.
Not the end of the world. But
Did you feel it?
No, I actually did fine.
Good.
Because I was careful with it, and
Yeah.
you know, with food and whatever. And I try not to eat after 6 o'clock at night. It's just my thing. And as long, okay, you're away with other people. Sometimes that doesn't work.
Sure.
You adjust.
Right.
You're careful. You take extra meds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
No, and that's what
But those
the
are all adjustments.
flexibility sounds like it's something you've really worked
Right.
in. And are you still working?
Yeah, I know. Retired from public school before the cancer, before the scleroderma.
Okay.
I had already retired. But then I went to work part-time for college, so I also was a supervisor and taught some college classes. But that was part-time, and I could kind of name my own hours.
Nice.
And that, yes. And I've now retired from that too. And energy level and going into different public schools every day to visit with student teachers probably was not my best thing to get exposed to, because what I think we learned is when you're in your own building, you might remember this, but
Yeah.
you I think you get used to the germs.
The germs in your own place.
And you don't
Yeah,
get
yeah,
sick
for
so
sure.
much. But when you are building hopping, it's probably not a good thing for a
Sure.
scleroderma patient.
No, I understand that.
Yeah. So anyway, that's sort of silly, but
What about for a newly diagnosed person? Like, do you have any great wisdom, or what would you tell somebody?
find a scleroderma center. Yep. It is so important to get a team and to get on to sites that are helpful to you. The Scleroderma group from the backers from University of Michigan, very helpful people. I'm of course, the science background again, but I'm a reader. I go in on the internet, I read stuff, but I also am smart enough to take it with a grain of salt.
Sure.
Because I know that everybody's problem is a little bit different. But all of those things help. They help me to look seriously at the disease, to come up with other ideas on how to do things, what I should be doing, what I should be asking the doctor about. All of those things are important. So yeah, get with a center, read with caution.
I see you have someone on your shirt.
I do, in the National
And who's
Scleroderma Foundation.
Well, they're not really on your shirt, but do you trust them as a resource that you could read about and from?
Yes, I will go back to them, and then I will go back to any of the major centers and read their stuff.
Sure.
I don't, yeah. And, I'll go back to U of M, I'll go back to Mayo Clinic, I'll go back to
Sure.
Cleveland Clinic online and read those kinds of things, because they have the centers, they have the better knowledge people over it. I mean,
Sure.
I hear these horror stories about people who are out away from these areas and don't have those things. And I'm telling you, it is worth driving or getting there to be with those people. So, and then once you're on medications and all that kind of thing, you need to just adjust. Do what the doctor says. Take the medicine. Learn. It took me a while on a lot of these to get everything straightened out, but the doctors keep working with you, and you just keep asking those questions. Okay, I'm still having trouble with this. What are we going to do? And they're wonderful. So.
Well, open-mindedness is something you must have collected along the way, because I think with me, when I'd try a medication and right away I'd have a side effect, I'd be like, I don't want to take that anymore. And then someone wise, probably your friend Carol or something, told me, give it a few weeks, give it even maybe a few months. Everyone's body's different. So.
Yeah. OFAV I did for a year before changing to a lower dose, because I was still having issues.
Sure.
And some of those, with doctor permission, what do they call it, take a med break, if
Sure.
you need to for a little while.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm very lucky because I'm very stable. I mean, I have what I have, but I go to the doctors when they tell me to, and so far I've been lucky to be just stable.
That's
And
awesome.
so that's very exciting.
Especially with interstitial lung disease. There's
Yeah,
some
the
people
lung
that don't get
disease
that.
is the
Yeah.
one that has stayed stable. That is good. So,
Good.
because that can lead to
Yeah.
far worse things, and I haven't gotten there. So, keep a journal.
Oh, tell me
I know
about
my
a journal.
friend Carol talked about that a little bit, but I keep a journal just of when I went where, who I saw, that same kind of thing, and
Medical
issues, more of the
journey.
medical
Okay,
issues.
okay.
But it helps at times when medicine was bothering me, and I was saying, oh, it's bugging
Sure.
me every day. Okay, so then get out a calendar. I print one out on the computer, print myself a little calendar for the month, and then mark down on it when you really are having problems. So when you go to the doctor, you have a calendar and you can say, yeah, it's like 3 days a week. Well, sometimes I'd look at it and I'd go, well, it really was only 1 day a week, but it felt like 5, okay? But marking that stuff down as you're trying to get used to new medications and new things can really help. And it gives the doctor a picture, that you know what you're doing, or you're really paying attention to it, and whether it really is a problem or not. It gives you a better picture. So journaling, having a calendar, any of those kinds of things that help you to keep track of your disease, I think are helpful to you and to your team.
Awesome. I appreciate that because I think that we do, when we feel miserable, like pain for me, if I'm in pain, I feel like it's been, 17 days and it's been 17 hours. So
Right,
I like
right.
that calendar idea.
Right,
Maybe I
right.
should try to do that myself.
It was helpful for me.
Good. I love those ideas.
Yeah. Okay.